Hello, it's Maryna Steyn from SME South Africa, reporting from our SME Funding Summit 2025. I'm joined here with Louise Naidoo from FNB, and we just heard some insightful information from FNB's side. So, Louise, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
If you could share with us, what do you feel was the key takeaways you really wanted to bring across to the audience?
Yeah, so the topic we spoke about this afternoon was really about the key trends within SME funding and what we see is happening around us. So we know there's a huge funding gap in the country, and I know it's difficult for SMEs to know which solutions to actually go out and get. There's a lot of options available, and naturally, going to your bank would be your first thing to do. And I think a lot of SMEs probably have a negative experience because often they are declined for funding. And it really isn't about banking appetite. I mean, appetite plays a big role, but I really believe that it's a partnership with a bank and the customer or the SME. At the end of the day, there's a lot of work that we try and do around education and awareness, because there's a jockey backing the business at the end of the day, and then the business. And then I think the partnership for me is to work together and educate what are the do's and don'ts, to make sure that when the point comes that you need funding, that you're funding ready and that it's not a negative experience. Even that first interaction with a bank, seeing how we can improve by just listening to the questions we got today on how we communicate funding outcomes. I think key tech for me was that, or key trend is that there's a lot happening around us. Digitization is not just a trend, it's definitely a huge shift. And the sooner SMEs make use of the tools available and all of the digital solutions on a banking platform, it really can help them a lot. They're busy every day. Having access 24/7 can save a lot of time. I mean, they even have the ability to apply for credit on the banking app. So, yeah, it's you always get businesses at various stages of their business life cycle. I think today we had a lot of startups. Startup funding is difficult. There were a lot of options presented, and I think I love what one of the delegates said about not a zero-sum game, but a positive-sum game. So all of the funding providers are here together. It's not about competition. Competition is actually good because together we will bridge the gaps that we have today and find the solutions that actually work for SMEs. So it was about trends happening today and trends that are coming, using AI and using the technology that's available to your advantage for your SME to run and become a successful growing business.
It's so true. It's at the end of the day, it's wonderful having everybody involved in a day like this and really speak together about the overarching topic of the funding gap in South Africa. And from our side, we like to say it's not that the funds don't exist, but how do you access that? And I think that also ties in with what you said about funding readiness. So funding readiness, what does that mean for you at FNB?
Yeah, so funding readiness starts the day when a business decides to, or an owner or entrepreneur decides to embark on their entrepreneurial journey. They're going to kick off the business. It starts with opening up a transactional relationship with the bank. So it's about that conversation you're having with the bank, having with the client at that point in time around what they should do, what tools are available for them to use to make sure that when they need the funding, they can access it. FNB has various ways for customers to receive money, and various ways for customers to make payments. And by using these digital tools like banking your cash firstly instead of using it, using our Speed Point, Speedy app, EFT, online payments. We encourage customers to do that because that way we're building a financial footprint. And we all know that it's difficult for SMEs to access funding, but banks use the transactional information through the account, personal and business account, because we know you might not have funds going through the business day one. But we use that for behavioral scoring. And that's a way to actually, in a quicker, easier way, get funding to our clients. So even creating pre-approved offers. So funding readiness for me means understanding what tools banks have today to make running your business easier. Because naturally, if you're using those tools like Kundaba for education, it's a business coach in your pocket. It basically shows you what documentation, what type of registration, sub-C, tax, cash flow planning. There's a lot of tools available. If you're using the tools plus the account and the payment mechanism, by the time you need funding, that behavioral record has been building. And then it becomes a lot easier because you can access it through scored credit. A lot of the fintechs provide solutions, and they're very helpful because often these SMEs can't get funding, traditional funding from a bank. But it's really important for the banks to work with the client to make sure that eventually they graduate into traditional funding, like an overdraft loan or credit card or cash advance is sort of on the upper end too, because it's cheaper. So there's a funding journey and there's solutions that will help the SMEs throughout their life cycle. And it's really important to work with the bank and with the SMEs together to make sure that we've got the right product at the right point in time, solving for the specific need. So, yeah. It's a mouthful, but
it definitely
Yeah.
is. But it's so important. And as you speak, I think it also just highlights once again that it's not just, oh no, banks have only loans. There's so much more to banking and funding that all ties together into this ecosystem you alluded to in your address today. So thank you so much for sharing that. Um, Also, thank you for being a part of the funding event and for your time.
Thank you. We look forward to the next one. Yeah.
Awesome.